Hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. Today's video I will be showing you guys on how I made this beautiful luxury bubu. It is very easy to make. I used 4 yards of liquid Mikado fabric to achieve the style. So if this is what you would love to learn how to make, please sit back, relax and enjoy the tutorial. If you are yet to subscribe to my channel, click the red button down below to subscribe and also click the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. So without further ado, let's move right to the tutorial. This style requires drafting on the pattern paper first. So what I'm doing, I join 2 pattern papers together. I tape both papers together in order to achieve my desired bubu length. My bubu length is always 65 inches, including hemming allowance. The pattern paper is folding, so I use some items to hold it down. So next, I rule my starting line. On the starting line, I impute neck width 3.5 inches, neck depth for the back 1 inch. From the center back to the sleeve, I use the whole length of the paper, which is 25 inches. At that point, I measure 2 inches for the shoulder slope and I connect it to the neck width. The sleeve is a puff sleeve. The wideness determines by how exaggerated you want the puff to be. I measure 21 inches for mine. You can use between 15 inches to 21 inches. It will look very fine for the puff sleeve. I impute shoulder to my hip line, which is 25 inches. Whenever I'm drafting, whenever I'm recreating a style, I always like to bring out the picture of the style. It always gives me guidelines in drafting. So I impute shoulder to my hip line 25 inches, shoulder to my knee length is 42 inches, then the length of my gown is 65 inches, including hemming allowance. On the hem line, I impute my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 3 inches. The total measurement that I impute is 16 inches. Then on the knee line, I impute 20 inches on the knee line. I move to the hip line. On the hip line, I impute same 20 inches. I have 20 inches on the hip line and also on the knee line. Then I connect the sleeve to the bodice like so. I connect the 20 inches on the hip line to the knee line. Then from the knee line, I slant it to meet the 60 inches mark on the hem line. And I blend it nicely like so. Before cutting it out, I added ½ inch on the shoulder line. Next is to cut it out. This is for the back bodice. This drafting is for the back bodice. I folded the fabric into two. Then I placed the pattern paper on it. I pinned the pattern paper, the edge of the pattern paper, to the folded edge of the fabric, and I cut it out. I'm going to cut facing for the back neckline. Next is to cut the front neckline. From the shoulder, I measured neck depth for the front 8.5 inches. You can use any measurement of your choice. The neckline shape is a V shape, so from the neck width I slant to the 8.5 inches and I cut it out. V shape neckline. Then you ask yourself, how wide do you want the front lapel to be? I want mine to be 1.5 inches, so I measured 1.5 inches from the shoulder. I continue to measure it from the neckline, from the center front straight to the hem. 1.5 inches. That is how wide I want the lapel in front to be. If you want it wider than 1.5 inches, you will increase the measurement. Then after measuring 1.5 inches, I rule the measurement into a straight line. Then I curve on the neckline. I curve it nicely to the shoulder. I blend the measurement. I blend the shape. I blend it nicely. So after that, you will cut it out. This measurement that I'm cutting out, I will replace it with lapel. So after cutting that out, next is to mark for our slash and spread. From the shoulder, I measure down 11 inches. Then from the 11 inches, I measure 10 inches downward. Then from the 10 inches, between the 11 inches and the 10 inches, I started marking 1 inch interval. 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. Then from the 1 inch, I roll it straight to the sleeve like so. Then I cut on the line. Don't cut it through, just stop 1/4 inch before the edge. So after cutting, I'm going to bring the remaining fabric. I'll fold it into two and place this pattern paper on it. Then I'll do my slash and spread method. Then you will trace the paper. You trace it out and cut it. You will notch the starting of the slash and spread, you notch it, and you will notch the ending. Very important. After that, you will remove the pattern paper. We don't need it anymore. The front bodies will be into 2. So next thing to do, from the beginning of the notch, you will gather it. You sew gathers, you will pleat and gather and stop at the ending of the notch. As you pleat, you will sew. As you pleat, you sew till you get to the ending of the notch. You repeat the same thing on the other side. So from the first notch, I first of all pleat it, I back stitch. Then as you pleat, you will be sewing on top. I'm pleating about 3 pleats. After I pleat 3 pleats, then I will stitch on it. You stitch very close to the edge. You will stitch very close to the edge of the fabric. You will stop at the second notch on the fabric. When you stop at the second notch, you will back stitch to hold the pleats down. You repeat the same thing on the other side. That notch will serve as a guideline to know where to start the pleating from and where to end. So it is very important you notch it. Please note, from the 4 yards of fabric, you will first of all measure 4 inches from the 4 yards and cut it out. That 4 inches is for the lapel. So after measuring 4 inches away from the 4 yards, you will iron edge to it. This is what I have on the table. You will first of all measure 4 inches width, then the whole length of the 4 yards. Measure 4 inches width from the 4 yards. From the folded edge, I rule a straight line. This straight line serves as my shoulder. Then you measure your neck depth. How deep do you want the neckline to be? Whatever measurement you like, you will mark it. Then from the shoulder again, you will measure where you want your front slit to start from. The bubu has a front slit. Measure where you want the slit to start from, then mark it. For the neck depth, for mine, I measured 12 inches. Then from the front slit, I measured 42 inches. Then from the neck depth to the front slit, you will mark the midpoint. Mine is 2 inches. Then you will rule a straight line on the midpoint. From the neck depth 12 inches to 42 inches where the front slit will start from. After ruling a straight line, then you will take to your sewing machine, you will sew, you will backstitch 3 to 4 times, sew on the straight line. When you get to the 42 inches mark where the front slit will start from, you will also backstitch there as well 3 to 4 times. Let me quickly sew that and show us the next step. You can fix the lapel to the bodies in 2 different ways. First method, fold the lapel into 2 this way. Take to your ironing table, give it a good press. This method requires that you join the front and the back bodies first on the shoulder. Then, after ironing the lapel, you will place the center back of the lapel to the center back of the neckline. I've already made this tutorial before. Then sew it. Some of this style comes with this type of lapel that I'm explaining to you guys. Now, in case you see this style elsewhere and it has a different lapel, this is how you will fix it. I've already made tutorial of this lapel severally on my channel. This is the first method, but I'm not going to use this method. I'm using this second method. The second method requires that you will split the folded edge into two. Then I will take to my ironing table. I will fold it and give it a good press. Let me quickly do that and show us the next step to take. I've ironed it. This is how it looks after ironing. This is the slit part and this upper part is the neckline. So next, I'm going to pin the lapel to the bodies. This is the two front bodies. So I'm going to pin the lapel to the bodies. I'll pin the other side of the lapel to the second front bodies. After pinning, I will take to my sewing machine. I'm going to sew 1/2 inch round where I pinned. Then I'm going to weave the edge. I'm going to overlock the edges to give it a very neat finishing. After pinning, this is how it looks. So I'm going to sew the lapel to the bodies and give it a good press. From the leftover fabric, I'm going to cut out 2 long strips for the inner belt. 2 long strips for the inner belt. The length of the belt is 32 inches, then the wideness is 4 inches. I've joined the lapel to the front bodice and I've given it a good press. This is how it looks. So I trim out the excess at the lower part. So the next thing to do, I'll overlock the edges to give it a neat finishing. After that, I'm going to join the front bodice and the back bodice together, and I'm also going to attach my belt on it. So to place the belt is very simple. I've made several tutorials on this belt placing. All you need to do, you will measure from the shoulder to your waistline. Measure from the shoulder to your waistline, mark it, repeat the same thing on the other side. Then from the center front, impute quarter of your waist measurement on one side, impute quarter of your waist measurement on the other side. What I normally used to do, for example, my waist is 40 inches. If I divide it by 4, is 10 inches. But I don't used to mark that 10 inches. I used to minus 1 inch from it, meaning I used to mark 9 inches on one side, 9 inches on the other side. I used to minus 2 inches from my waist measurement. I hope you guys understand my explanation. After turning your rope to the right side, then the rough edges, you fold it inward, then place it on the mark and pin it down. Repeat the same thing on the other side, folding the rough edges of the rope, fold it inward, then place it on the mark and pin it down. You take to your sewing machine and stitch it down. After that, I'm going to place the front bodice and the back bodice together. Then I will join them on the shoulder. I've joined the bodies together. This is how it looks. When you join the bodies together on the shoulder, open up the shoulder seam and give it a good press. It is very important. It gives your work a very neat finishing. After giving it a good press, then you overlock the edges. If you notice on the sleeve opening that it is not equal, all you need to do is just to trim it out. Trim out the excess, like so. For the back facing, I'm going to place hemming gum underneath the facing and give it a good press to hold the facing down to the bodice so that it won't be moving around. So I'll place hemming gum underneath it like so, and I'll give it a good press. As you can see, the inner part of the bubu, I have overlocked all the necessary parts. This is very important. So the next thing that I'm doing, I'm marking 2 inches for my elastic casing. I'm going to sew the elastic casing. I'll pass my elastic through the casing. I will sew the sides. After sewing the sides, I'm going to open up the seam. I will give it a good press and also overlock the edges. Then I will trim the hem. If it's not equal, I will trim it to be equal. Then I will hem the down part of the bubu. I will give it final good pressing, and that's about it for today's tutorial. This is the final outcome of today's tutorial, guys. As you can see, the bubu came out very beautiful and it is classy. I love this style so much. I can't wait to rock this style on Sunday, and I'm going to make this style in 3 different colors because I absolutely love this style. We've come to an end of today's tutorial. If you find my tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below if you've not done so. I upload weekly tutorial on my channel. Also remember to click the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. Until I come your way next, please stay safe and remain blessed. Thanks for watching. I love you all. Bye.